All right, here is my oldest Marvel comic book. This is Rawhide Kid, issue 37 from September of 1963. Rawhide Kid was a comic put out by Atlas Comics, the precursor to Marvel. In 1955, it was a generic Western comic. It ran for 2 years up through issue 16. This is the reboot series, which started at issue 17, where Stan Lee and Jack Kirby got together to make their first continuing adventures of a heroic character after doing years of one-shot crime, horror, and monster stories. That issue came out in May of 1960, which was a year before the first issue of Fantastic Four. And even though the company was still called Atlas at the time, it kind of could be considered the dawn of the Marvel Age. The Rawhide Kid revamped character is a different character, but continuing in the same comic line. It's just all new stories. This character's stories continue from issue to issue. It's the longest running Western series of comic history. And I have issue 37. You can see the corners torn out here, but the reason why I got this issue, now I have reprints of all the earlier issues and I have a lot of other issues as well. But the reason why I got this is because, as you can see here, it has a super villain style character, kind of like the Marvel Universe invading the Western era. This character is called the Rattler. This is the first non-Western kind of supervillain-esque type of a character to invade this series. And like I said, it is my oldest Marvel comic book, and it cost me $27. The Rattler strikes. So you can see at this point, Dick Ayers had taken over in art. Jack Kirby was busy doing the superhero titles at this point. Fantastic Four, at least. This is the first time I've opened this comic, but I'm assuming this is the character that becomes the Rattler, type of a circus acrobat. Look, it's all action. It's very cool. Here we go. Okay, he gets his costume. He has like this quick draw action. Almost looks action figure-esque. I like this. Got the costume, got the skills. First man to move will feel the Rattler's sting. So he's even named his moves, which is just shooting a gun. But I love it. Oh, this is some dynamic action here. I can't wait to read this. But I'm going to read all of my Rawhide Kid comics in chronological order. I just recently started collecting them, and I've amassed quite a nice collection of these. Reason why I did was because I noticed that the comic, at a certain point along the line, got taken over by Stan Lee's brother, Larry Lieber, who took over the writing and artwork, and the covers are extremely awesome. And I don't have any like Larry Lieber comics. I remember his job was doing the Spider-Man newspaper comic strip, but his foray into the comic world was to do writing and artwork of the Rawhide Kid series. Look at this. I love this. Very cool. So we're into the next story. I don't think this one has the Rattler. This is just more Western fare. But so there we go. The end. I'm going to show you a few more things. So I actually have the very next issue, issue 38, and they bring in yet another super villain looking type of a character, attacked by the Red Raven. Let's take a look. Very cool. Looks like the Angel from X-Men, but it predates him. Again, this is my first time looking inside here. Ooh, it's branded. Dick Ayers clearly draws like Jack Kirby. I believe he was an inker for Jack. So here we go. It's a guy in prison, and he's assembling the costume. Kind of reminds you of the Vulture, you know, the Spider-Man villain. But this is an Old West jail, and it's red. A Red Raven. This is neat. So I like this, that they're inserting these super villain-esque characters into the Old West. That's a nice twist. If they did it now, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but back then, this really was before Marvel was doing superheroes. And yes, clearly it's still an Old West comic. He's got the old rifle, but he can fly. It's neat. Wow, Rawhide Kid got a pair of wings. How'd he get those? So they're duking it out in the air. It's action-packed. You got your Native Americans. This is great. And then the second story, which, you know, would not have the Red Raven. I don't think the second stories even have the Rawhide Kid. It's interesting. Oh, what's this? Oh, I thought he was on a magic carpet. No, someone's just pulling the rug out from under him. Ooh, he got an arrow to the heart. No, that's a gunshot. Sorry, I got one more to show you. Right here, Rawhide Kid issue 57. So again, we have another super villain-esque type of a character in the Western series. This would be a character named the Scorpion, I am assuming. This would predate Spider-Man Scorpion. Now, don't get the wrong idea about these three comics I've shown you. This is pretty much it. It's just a Western comic, and like I said in an earlier video, this ran into the early 1980s, 1983, I believe. Ran for a really long time. But the interesting thing is I have a West Coast Avengers comic from the late 80s where they time travel back to the Old West and they team up with all of Marvel's old Western characters. So you've got Rawhide Kid, Two Gun Kid, Kid Colt. I can't think of them all off the top of my head, but they all team up with them because they have to fight the villainous team up of all of these characters I just showed you. They got the super villain type characters together, not just from the Rawhide Kid, but the other Western series also had their type of one-shot issues where they had these super villain characters they'd stick in, a guy in like full Doctor Doom style armor in the Old West, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Let's just take a quick look inside. So here we go. The skin-tight costume, but with the boots with spurs and the guns in the holsters. Look at this. Gonna go after the stagecoach. So here we go. Larry Lieber, script and art. So we're into that era now where he's taking over story and art. This is Stan Lee's brother. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Oh man, the boulder. The boulder's coming down to kill them. Awesome. Yeah, this is action packed. Wow, looking quite Cobra Commander-esque. Pow! Wonder what the Scorpion's backstory is. Some kid drew in this issue with a pen. Having a little fun, eh? So here we go. This is the backstory to the Scorpion. Looking quite dapper. I have a feeling I'm really gonna love reading this series. It looks so great. It's like all-out action. Oh, unmasks him, so I believe that's the end of the Scorpion. Probably goes off to jail and changes his ways, because I do not believe these characters ever come back in the series. And, like all earlier ones, there is a second backup story. Oh, okay, I see. That's right. These backup stories are reprints from older Western comics from Marvel or Atlas, whatever. So this backup story was originally presented in Kid Colt, issue 105 from 1962. So that's pretty cool. You get your chance to read other things that you might have missed in years gone by. Riding the trail with Rawhide. So we're not done because I have a few more things to show you. Right here. This is my oldest Marvel superhero comic. Tales to Astonish, issue 60 from July of 1964, and this cost me $26. So my oldest superhero comic is Lev Gleason's Daredevil, issue 22 from 1944, so it's 20 years older than this. My oldest Marvel comic is from the previous year, 1963, that's a Rawhide Kid. This is my earliest Marvel superhero comic. But that's not all. You see here, the Incredible Hulk was the second Marvel superhero in the modern Marvel age. You had the Fantastic Four, and he was followed by the Incredible Hulk. But the Incredible Hulk only lasted 6 issues, and then was gone. He popped up here and there in other comics, and then he comes back here. Tales to Astonish, issue 60. This is his first return in his new solo stories. Now, he was in the previous issue, issue 59, but it was in a Giant Man story where he was just part of that story. Like he had been since his series went away, he would pop up in other people's series. And this comic, of course, is an anthology series with different characters showcased, one half for one character, the other half for the other, and it had Giant Man, and he fought the Hulk, or teamed up with the Hulk or something. I didn't read it, I don't know what happens in it. This is the next one. I guess it was popular enough they said, you know what? Let's give the Hulk the second half of the comic. In fact, I believe up until this point, it may have just been Ant-Man and Giant Man stories, and this is where they decided to split split it. Yeah, 2 great features for the price of 1. See the big change. So that's it. They've now split it in half to give him half and him half. The Hulk would continue on in here all the way till issue 101, and then for issue 102, they changed the name of the comic to The Incredible Hulk, and that's where it picks up. So it only went issues 1 through 6, and then it skips to issue 102, because in between, it was Tales to Astonish. And the Incredible Hulk comic that continues to this day was originally this, Tales to Astonish, and it all started here. Let's take a quick look inside. So you have Giant Man and the Wasp, formerly Ant-Man, and he shrinks down to ant-sized again. Wow, an intelligent Russian ape. Love it. An army of them. And here we go. It just had to happen. The Incredible Hulk has finally been awarded his own series. Oh, look at this. The original 6 issues of The Incredible Hulk were drawn by, written by Stan Lee and drawn by Jack Kirby. Look at it now. His new series, illustrated by Steve Ditko, the artist from Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Now we have his take on the Hulk right from the get-go. Cool. And you've got all the regulars: Bruce Banner, Thunderbolt Ross, Betty Brant, or Betty Ross. Betty Brant? That's from Spider-Man. Speaking of Spider-Man, Bruce Banner kind of looks like Peter Parker, and I guess an early form of like Hulkbuster armor. I gotta say, Steve Ditko is not the greatest artist for the Hulk. It's just my opinion. My opinion is always right. But that was it. Let's flip back. Where are we going here? So, he's got some kind of relationship going on with them where he can turn back and forth. I don't know. I'll have to read it. But I have one last comic to show you. So this is issue 60. Here is issue 70. Now, as you can see, the Hulk continues, like I said, until they change the entire comic into the Hulk. But Ant-Man, Giant Man, Wasp, whatever you want to call him, has finally been replaced. He's been replaced by Submariner, and it starts here because Submariner made his return to Marvel Comics from the old golden age in Fantastic Four issue 4, and he bounced around a little bit, and then they gave him his own solo series at last, and it begins here. And he would stay in Tales to Astonish with the Hulk, them each getting half of the story, until he got his own series as well. They didn't change Tales to Astonish into the Submariner comic. They changed it into the Hulk. His new series started at issue 1. After his run ran out here, after 31 issues, I guess. I actually have 70, 71, 72, 73. I've got a number of these beginning ones. We'll take a quick glance inside. Stan Lee and Adam Austin, Imperious Rex. So you've got all of your Atlantean action and characters and whatnot. I like it. Another fun series. And then we go into the Hulk. Ooh, is he invisible? Is he metal? What's going on here? The pages are falling out. Well, like I've said before, if I had mint condition comics, these would have cost me, instead of $26, $20, $10, they would have cost me, 56 million, 56 billion. Okay, I'm over exaggerating. Woo! I could see that in the G.I. Joe toy line. Oh, I know this character. He was in an early 1980s run of the Hulk that we got in our subscription service. I showed that in my video, My 100 Comic Book Journey. Check that video out. It's awesome. And so there we go. Until next time.